I finished two series so far on my collections. One of them was the South Dakota, Centerville, South Dakota photographs that were taken by John Johnson. And the other series was on the Phillipsburg, Kansas photographs that were taken by George A. Locke. And afterwards, I got to thinking and I thought, wait a minute, I really need to start at the beginning. If I'm going to be doing these series on different collections, I have to start at the beginning. So I started collecting glass negatives in December of 2020. That's when I bought my first glass negative. So that's 5 years. I amassed 22,800 glass negatives in 5 years, really. So why I got into buying them is the real story behind this. So prior to me buying them, I was really interested in colorizing old photographs, both for myself, just in general, and sometimes for clients. So you have to be a little bit careful when you are selecting what photographs that you colorize, because you don't want to run afoul of any kind of copyright issues. I started following this gentleman by the name of Paul Holbrook, and because he was posting on similar Facebook pages that I followed as well. And so I started seeing some of his images, and I asked him, I reached out to him and I said, hey, do you mind if I colorize your photos? And he said, no, go, please, go ahead. And so I started colorizing some of his photographs. Well, I got to chatting with him and discovered that he bought these glass negatives that these images were from. So that kind of piqued my interest because I wanted to move forward in what I was doing with the ability and the intent that I could potentially sell prints of my work. And so the ownership of these glass negatives intrigued me because then I know I'm not going to run afoul of anybody. The time limit for copyrights have run out on many of these photographs that I'm talking about. So, when he told me he was buying these negatives, I said, oh, kind of intrigued by that. Probably regrets me. He probably regrets telling me about this because ultimately I was competing against him as I was competing against others in these online auctions. So there were occasions I outbid him, but nonetheless, that's who helped me get started. Great guy. We're friendly to this day. And so he got me interested in this. So I went on eBay and I started bidding on these negatives, and the ones that I started on were similar to him. One's taken by a photographer in Gainesville, Georgia, by the name of Nathan Carroll White. So I started buying these negatives. And in total, I purchased over 700 negatives from a gentleman by the name of Bill Riley. So he's the second character in this story for me. So, and another person that I consider a friend, and we communicate to this day. He's been super with me, helpful. He has taught me some things about photography. He's more knowledgeable about the process than I am for sure. So again, really great guy, very helpful. So Paul Holbrook, Bill Riley, Nathan C. White, Glass Negatives. Okay, so that's the beginning of my journey with the Gainesville, Georgia negatives. So I'm going to stop here, make it short, and I'll go to part 2 and talk more about the photographers. So stay tuned for the next episode.